This is Providence Television International, the game changer.
And this is the newspaper analysis segment on the Morning Drive, Providence Television International. A wonderful day to you. Thanks for watching. My name is Ogbebo Ikekwa, and with me in the studio is Dr. Emmanuel Egariba. You're welcome.
Yes, it's midday. It's midweek. And I suppose we're just getting prepared now. Time flies, really. I mean, next couple of days, we'll be talking about another weekend. So it's a glorious day, and I want to welcome everybody on board. Thank you.
Yeah, well, before we start off with the program proper, have you noticed the scent of Christmas in the air?
It's in the air. The Yuletide is in the air already, and it's a marvelous season. It's my favorite season. You will notice that. And what is that? You notice dry leaves falling off.
Yes.
Their trees. They're falling off on their own accord, you know. And once they fall off like that, it means that the Harmattan season is coming gradually on us. And just yesterday, a couple of friends phoned me from Europe, one in Sweden, the other one in England, that the temperatures are pretty cold now, very cold temperatures, and very soon they will experience a lot of snowing. And of course, in those parts of the world, Christmas takes place during winter. So it means that we are pretty lucky in these parts of the globe. Even though it's dry, we're still enjoying some humidity, okay? Yes. So thanks be to God.
Exactly. Well, also all thanks to you for staying tuned. Like I've always said, if you are not there, we actually do not have a service to render. And we have from our mailbox some messages. From our mailbox, we'll take our first message from Chicago, Illinois. This is coming from Kelly Okonkwo. He says, I love Providence Television International, especially its news presentations. It's a young station with a huge potential. I pray that very soon the whole world will know about it.
Well, the whole world is already knowing about it. We thank God for that. That's why it's international, by the way. And I think I have to thank you, writing in from Chicago in Illinois, all the way from the U.S. Actually, we receive a lot of letters from the U.S., from Canada, from New Zealand, far out in the world. So, but yes, thank you for liking what we are doing, our news presentations. We are striving at the best, and God willing, we'll get there. Yes, thank you very much.
And so we'll be moving to the next mail, which is from Brisbane, Australia. Judith O'Morrig is writing in from Brisbane, Australia, saying, thank God for Providence Television International. I appreciate what Dr. Emmanuel Egariba is doing as the chairman and CEO of the station. Please, I would like to see programs on women's health and fashion, particularly as it affects local Nigerian fabrics.
Well, Judith, I like your sentiments. Thank you very much, Judith. I really do. I really, really do. But it's like you preempted us in the area of fashion. We're already handling women's health. We've had a program out there on infertility, and I remember that Professor Gegba was here to talk about it. We're going to do more, actually. But as for fashion and style, that's what we call it. It's one of the programs in Nigeria. We had a program just this morning, and it was like you were there in spirit, because you're talking about what we have planned to do. We have a young lady, her name is Ivie, who will be detailed to be talking about that. So the idea really is to promote different designs and to promote Nigerian fabrics, as you rightly said. So just watch out. We'll be pleased to have you.
And Dakpo Ademola is writing in from Abeokuta, Ogun State, and he says, I thank Dr. Emmanuel Egariba for his initiative. Providence Television International is my daily tonic. I particularly like the program, The Teachings of the Catholic Church. Please extend my best wishes to Father Uja Ejembi. His program on remembering and praying for the dead was fabulous.
Oh, thank you, Dakpo. I can't thank you enough, because actually we've had two programs. The debut happened about a couple of weeks ago, and just last week we had Father Ejembi. He's a Jesuit, And he really did thrill us, and he thrilled a lot of people around the world. He also told me that he received a lot of telephone calls after that program, which means that, yes, he was on top of the game. I want to thank all the viewers who watched that program. I particularly want to thank Father Uja, who was also praised by fellow priests, one from the Vatican, who appraised it, and I said, yes, that was a wonderful program. And here I'm talking about Father Ogunu. He's in Rome, and he said a lot of very wonderful things about the young priest who appeared on the program. So the teachings of the Catholic Church, we carried it from some other stations. I used to produce it on other stations, but now we have our own. And because I'm a Catholic, there's a special interest in that. So we'll be having many more priests, the religious, Reverend Sisters, and many others who are involved in the teachings of the church. So thank you very much. Please keep writing in. We'll appreciate it.
And from Saple, Delta State, James Okoro is writing in and is saying Providence Television is truly the game changer. But please, kindly give us programs on sports personalities. We want to see Dr. Emmanuel Legariva doing what he knows best. Thank you.
Oh, doing what he knows best. I'm sure you knew me right from when I was presenting sports in those days. But yes, Personalities in Sports, that's the title of the program. It's on our schedule as a regular program. We'll start it as quickly as possible. That's a promise, particularly because the present Edo and Delta states, which were the fulcrum of the old Delta and the Midwest, will be the home of sports in this part of the country. So we do know that there are many sports people, many sports personalities who will target them properly and bring them to the station. I know a lot of them. So, but please just give us a little time. We'll have the program and it will suit your temperament. I do promise that. So Personalities in Sports will be on air in not too distant future.
And from Madrid, Spain, Rosemary Demudia is saying, a friend of mine told me about Providence Television International, and ever since I have not looked back. Please continue to thrill us with more news presentations and analysis. My special greetings to Dr. Emmanuel Legariva and his staff. God bless.
Well, Rosemary, thank you very much. You dropped in from Madrid. Beautiful city. I was there back in 1982 during the World Cup in Spain. I hope it has grown even more beautiful now, by the way. So thank you very much indeed. Yes, I will do that, exactly what you have said, to extend your best wishes to our staff. And yes, who knows, maybe one of these days you come to town and we'll have you on one of our programs. So thank you so much. We appreciate all that you are saying, and we are hoping that God being with us will continue to satisfy all your yearnings as deemed fit. Thank you.
Well, quite some responses from viewers out there.
Yes, it makes me feel really good because they're coming in, these letters, they're coming in from all over the world.
Yes.
And this will surprise you. There are many more letters from North America, for instance, in the US and Canada. More than what we even have coming from Nigeria. That's the amazing thing. But yes, we have a lot of letters coming in from this country, but it's nothing to compare with what we have from the US, from Canada, from across to the other side, Australia and New Zealand, even Asian countries like Japan. So we are very happy about that. It gives us the energy and it gives us more vitality to do more and to satisfy. Actually, we are here to satisfy not ourselves, but the people out there around the world who watch this station on a regular basis. So kudos to them and kudos to our staff who are doing very well. I'm very proud of them. And to God be the glory, we are reaching for great heights.
Okay, and with this, we'll slide straight to the newspaper analysis segment, and we'll start off with the New Telegraph newspapers, where we have Lukarawa's containment operation begins as security agencies get marching order to crush group.
I'm not just talking about marching orders. That's a different ball game, okay? We want action.
Okay.
Yes, because you see, this new phenomenon could just be a splinter group from Boko Haram.
Okay.
And if that is the case, then we have two fronts. to contend with, meaning that there's more job for our military to do. And I would suggest that it's not even a question of just putting 1 or 2 battalions out there.
Okay.
All right? A whole force should attack, both on land and from the air. Okay, but what is important is for the military to man our borders very well. These guys are coming from across the Sahel, and our borders are porous. Okay, that's one. Number two, we need to up our game by way of intelligence network. That is working with the people, asking questions, and going deep down to arrest the situation even before it occurs. Because usually what we find in this country is that they wreak havoc on certain places before we now react. We should take them head on before they even come into the country. That's my take.
All right, we'll move to the front page of the Vanguard newspapers. Minimum wage. States in panic mode over NLC's December 1st strike notice. Only 12 states implementing new wage, 24 states yet to implement. World Bank. We'll stop at that. We'll leave it at that. Coming from the Vanguard, as in the NLC.
That's all right. In terms of the strike action.
Yes, in terms of the
impending strike action. Yes, it's a bad spot. It's a bad spot because 24 states. They've not even talked about it. Do you remember a couple of days ago, Zamfara, for instance, is not even paying 30,000.
They just started. They just started paying
30,000.
They just started paying the 30.
Not to talk of the 70,000. So it's a sore point, but it's a law already. It's a law, and I just hope that states, particularly those who have the wherewithal, they should be able to pay without looking back.
Okay.
Lagos, for instance, should pay, and they have said they will pay. They should even pay over 70,000. Rivers, for example, even Kano. All right. So I just hope that this will not disrupt the Christmas festivities. All right. And I also hope that the labor movement should make it clear that this is law. Yes, it's been passed into law, and I think states should abide. They don't do anything else. But really, truly, even the 70,000 they are talking about, in the face of present realities, they are married people. A married man with a family of 4 or 5, how can he cope with even 70,000? That is difficult, right? But I have always said that, look, when government reduces the price of fuel to a manageable level, all other things will crumble into it, and nobody is talking about that. Petrol as of today is 1,125, in some areas 1,110. Yes, but obviously everywhere is over 1,000 naira. And how do you expect people to cope? Transport hike is there, housing problems are there. So where do we go from here?
Well, ASU at the other end is saying that the World Bank, IMF, are determined to destroy the university system.
Well, I don't know. I've not read the body of that report, but I do know that IMF is not a friend. We have often said that. Okay? Yes, they are your creditors, but most creditors are looking forward to seeing you as stooges. Right. Nigeria must break loose from IMF and the World Bank. That is what most countries have done in the recent past, and they're happier for it. So, but how it affects, I can't get that now, how it affects the educational system, which will go into the body of that story. But ASU should know what is right for them. They have also said that very soon they will go on strike. I don't know how they have gone about that. But that will be one strike too many, yes, in this present circumstance.
Well, we'll move to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspapers, where we have manufacturers groan as Naira float deepens forex crisis. Riders to that effect highlight soaring exchange rate at 1,900 Naira per dollar as key driver of sector's challenges. 16 major firms incur 792 billion Naira loss.
Billions in terms of losses. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria groaning.
Yes,
that's the word. And all others who are stakeholders. It's a terrible scenario we have now. 1,950. during Christmas, it might rise above 2,000.
Above 2,000.
That we are saying. That's the collapse of the naira.
Mm.
The naira as at now is one of the weakest currencies, not just in Africa, anywhere around the world. So we are in for some tough times. But I think that government, I mean, obviously there's a lot of volatility in the system, and government can do much to arrest the situation using the instrumentality of the central bank and its policies. That's where the problem is, really. And once there's this kind of issue, then you can't control inflation. Simple economics, you can't control inflation. Market forces are there, and all other forces as they're working against the naira. Right. So the question is, why did we even have to float the naira in the first place? Yes. Why did we have to? All right. So I just pray we don't move into depression.
Exactly.
Yes, that's my prayer. Because the way we are going now, I'm afraid we might just go in there. And for the kind of economy we are running, I don't know. Only God will help us. Quite frankly, only God will help us.
You know, just some seconds ago, you talked about the central bank. In one of the newspapers, it was in the front page. One of the newspapers, Cardoso again, at it, saying that businesses are finding it difficult to get loans from the banks. That's the CBN governor talking.
They can't even access forex. That's what That's what that newspaper was talking about. Now, forex. I mean, without forex, how do you get raw materials? Right? It's not possible. Okay. So, and we need a rebound, really. I mean, for the economy, the total rebound. And if that doesn't happen in the next 1 month, we'll be in deep trouble. Yes, not just for manufacturers, but for all employers of labor. Okay. Employers are already feeling the pinch. But what are the manufacturers?
Exactly.
Yes, the manufacturers, they must get raw materials, and they must get machinery and things like that. They must pay their staff, right? But when the foreign exchange has some volatility, then it's something to worry about, quite frankly.
Well, let us see. I know that so many of you will wonder that there is something to worry about, and this very next headline is coming. Daily Independent, front page. Most challenging economic period now over, Tinubu tells Nigerians.
Well, we'll hear that from the presidency and also from the president himself. Yes, that's what should be. But what is the reality on the ground? That's the issue. So, many people obviously will react to that kind of statement. But we'll just stay in the middle and say, yes, this is the reality on the ground, and this is what the president is saying. So it is left for the people out there to judge if what the president is saying is right or wrong. Okay?
Exactly. And so that takes us to the second story on the front page of the Daily Independent. Governor Okpebholo vows to implement 5-point agenda for Edo growth. Names Ihilo, SSG, and Oshomole's son, Commissioner Designate.
Well, thank God that there's been a change of baton in Edo State. Thank God for that. It went on pretty seamlessly. There was no upheaval of any sort. And it took place in an open space, the stadium, for example. Okay, but we are watching out for what's on the table.
Yes.
I was pleasantly surprised that some announcements were made on the day of inauguration as to some appointments and all of that. And I look back to 1992, way back when I was appointed the chief press secretary, and that was number 2, coming from the gubernatorial announcement. Okay. The first usually is the secretary to the state government. Because he's the engine room. Yes, all commissioners will pass through him and all of that. Then, well, we didn't have chief of staff in those days, but we have chief of staff now, so that easily could have been made. But the chief press secretary, of course, I was the second person to be announced in those days, the chief press secretary. So, but I was surprised that even the 2 commissioners were announced.
Yes.
Right? Yes. One, the Attorney General. Who is the number 1 commissioner? Constitutionally, the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice is the number 1, just as the AGF at the national level is also the number 1 minister. But the second is Dr. Shamole, who I understand is son of the former governor. So people must ask questions. How could it have been him? Okay, on the day of inauguration. But maybe there are obvious technical reasons why some officers have to be announced, some commissioners have to be announced as far as the celebration is concerned. So we are looking forward to a time when there will be drastic reduction of crime. In the recent past, we've had a lot of clashes arising from cult groups and things like that. But only today, we need to get some confirmation that the Chief Press Secretary, speaking on behalf of the governor, says that activities of tax collectors or revenue collectors have been banned.
Okay.
And I was quite happy about that because that could easily have degenerated into open conflicts.
Exactly.
So if that happens, I think it's a step forward. And the other areas we can easily look at. We'll continue to play the role of advisor on this station. If we notice that things are not going well, we have a duty to say it. If we also know that things are going the right way, we can say it. We are independent, okay? So we wish the governor well. I think in the next few days we'll begin to have many more appointments, as it were. The House of Assembly is already in place, so they will have to do the screening and all that, so we can have a full cabinet to go on. Thank you.
All right, and so that takes us to the front page of the Daily Trust newspapers. Bandits burn maize farms in Kaduna. Farmers say their means of livelihood is gone. Attack can worsen food shortage, drive up prices. And the police say they are probing the incident.
Well, it's something we've heard over and over again. In Kaduna again, it's in the news for the wrong reason. Now it is maize farm. Poor fellows. Well, we sympathize with them. We sympathize with them very, very anxiously. And I think that the government itself should do more than just waiting by the sideline just to notice a few things. And this way I think that the federal government should also step up more action as to the elimination of these bandits. You can tell now that there will be some kind of food shortage in that part of the country, which means that people will look up to Kaduna for maize and some other grains. Will not find it easy at all. And this is what we have always been saying, that we should keep these bandits away from our farmlands.
Exactly.
Right? Kaduna is in the Middle Belt, and it's part of the food basket of this country. If it does tails into Plateau, Benue, Nasarawa, then we're in for trouble. Exactly. But we have to nip it in the bud at the moment so it doesn't spread too widely.
Exactly. Well, with that, we'll come to the end of the newspaper analysis segment for today, the 13th day of November 2024. But as usual, the CEO definitely has a parting shot for us.
Well, the parting shot for today is very simple, okay? We have a change of administration in Edo State. Thank God that it went on seamlessly. But people should just face their responsibilities very quietly, okay? Let us give room for the new administration to settle down, and we shouldn't go about doing things that are contrary to reason, things that are contrary to the law, okay? So that they don't end up giving the new administration a very bad name, right? So people should just face their responsibilities very quietly, do our jobs quietly, and to ensure that there is peace. All right? If there is no peace, then there cannot be meaningful development. Exactly. So please, this is a special appeal to all Edo people. We cannot have a war situation now arising from cult-related issues. So we can't have that. Okay. So, but my appeal, again, as I said, is for us to have absolute peace, and I will crave the indulgence of the law enforcement agencies to put their house in order so as to mitigate anything that might be untoward.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Well, once again, thank you if you are out there. And if this is your first time of tuning into Providence Television International, please make sure you tell your friends about the game changer. Simply go to YouTube and just type in Providence Television International. And as my boss would always say, you're good to go.